So I know it was a long video with kind of detailed examples, but I find that if you've never done this before, uh, it is important to go step by step and not using any terms to actually show you how to pick those numbers and how to calculate. So I thank you if you watched it that far down the road. Welcome back to our How to Lease Car series. This is part number 2 where we're gonna go over practical examples of finding the cars to lease. Part number 1 was explaining everything on how the calculation works, and we finished it with that 1% rule, which is basically if you can lease the car with no money out for 1% of MSRP per month, and we're talking about like 36 months, around 12,000 miles, that's really good deal. And I think the previous video was a lot of theory and understanding of the terms. Today I want to be like super practical, and I want to do 2 exercises. First is I'm just going to show you what cars are really good to lease and their approach that 1%, which cars are really bad to lease regardless of their class. And you know, the beauty of that 1% rule is that you can compare completely different deals, and depending on how close they are to that 1%, that gives you the benchmark. So that will be the first exercise. And the second one, for people that perhaps don't know that much about cars and you know they don't really care about the brand, I'm gonna choose different cars of the same class but from different manufacturers. We'll compare their lease deals and see which one is actually the best value. And this is all based on the information we can find online. This is kind of a homework that you can do even before you email or go into the dealership, and that will give you a baseline to start the negotiation. It will give you some realistic numbers, because usually the lease offers are all convoluted. There's a bunch of fine print, and it's not as straightforward to understand them as just buying the car or financing deal. So let's just start with the cars that are really good to lease. And if you remember the previous video, one of the key factors on finding the best cars to lease are the cars that depreciate the least, because if they don't depreciate as much, that means the residual value is high. That means you are not the capital cost, that money that you're actually spreading out between those months, is not as high. So first step that you can do is you can look at some statistics in your area or in your country about the cars that don't depreciate as much. And we're taking US for example, but that's very true for a lot of countries. That Honda Civic is one of the least depreciated cars, is very popular, is one of the top sellers. So just knowing that fact, I don't know what's the finance charges yet, but just knowing that the residual value should be somewhat higher, I can kind of extrapolate that Honda Civic might be a good car to lease. All right, let's start. So this first page just shows you that Honda Civic is one of the best values. You probably even knew it without the research, but those numbers just show it. So when you're selecting your car for lease, and perhaps you have a dream car, it is prudent to investigate the depreciation numbers, because if the depreciation is high, if the car loses in value a lot, you can guarantee that the lease payments will be very high. And in this case, it is almost always better to buy a used car that lost a lot in value, just way better for you. So you know, that's the first step. So for example, I did want to buy Honda Civic. I would be satisfied with depreciation values here. And the next step is I'm just going to the corporate website first, and I'll click on shopping tools, and there's 2 options for me here. I can estimate the payments and I can see offers. I kind of really need both. So I will start with see offers. Okay, so let's see the current offers, and the very first thing that jumps to me, and especially if you're not proficient in looking at deals, is that you see a bunch of different numbers. There's like the offer doesn't look standardized. Like if you were looking at just buying the car, you might see like 4,000 off or a loyalty bonus $1,000. Here you'll see like $329, 1.9% APR, $1,000 credit, $0 due at signing. So that's kind of a challenge with Lease, and you can see all of those offers, even though when you go inside the offer, they're all structured the same. But the way they display the information is very different, and there is a reason for it, because some people might react differently to what they see. Some might think this is low APR, some might like zero due at signing, even though pretty much any car you can do zero due at signing. So your job here is to like really look deep inside the offer and try to understand how it's structured. So for example, here in Honda Passport, $329 doesn't really mean anything because you got to put $3,100 due at signing. And also this offer is probably for base model or whatever trim with no options, and perhaps the cars that are on a lot cost more. So this number really doesn't tell me anything. 1.9% is a good number, but I'm not sure if it applies to other cars. All right, I'm gonna switch to Honda Civic because this is our example. So you'll have total monthly payments here. You can divide that. If you take 87 and divide it by 36, because one payment is free, you end up with like $243. And so you can make a really quick calculation here and divide it by, so that's like 1.1%. That's obviously not calculating other stuff here, but you can see just on the surface, just that estimation of payments with this MSRP, this is pretty close to 1%. Okay, so like I'm kind of satisfied with the offers on Honda Civic, which is basically no offers. The next thing I can do here is I can estimate payments. Our example was LX, so that's what we're gonna do. There's not a lot of things you can add to it actually. So lease $250 a month, but because you skip one payment and it ends up being like 243, which what we calculated. That's for 36 months, 12,000 miles. Obviously, as we talked about, if you're doing 15,000 miles, that price will increase. And if you're thinking you're going to get a lower payment and you will just ride more miles, if you saw the offer before it, you will pay, I think, 20 cents for each additional mile. And you can actually see there is the offers being applied here right away. You can choose between the 0 first month's payment, which basically makes your payment $243. This is before the tax. And or you can do $189 per month with $2,600 down. As we talked about, we never leave the money down, so this deal is not interesting to us. Okay, so from the corporate website, this is pretty much all of the information I can get at this point, because they're not really advertising their manufacturer, they're not advertising their residual value, and because it's a corporate website, they don't really have the inventory here. The inventory is with dealers. So my question here is that this car starts at $20,800. If I actually go to the dealer, will I find a car like that? So that's the next thing we're gonna do. Okay, so this is the first Honda website we're gonna look at. This is a dealership in Lyle, Illinois, and I just want to show you how complicated can it be to get to the bottom of like what is the actual price for the car for the lease. So first I'm gonna click on current payments, and you'll see the Civic LX, $245 per month, no money down, exclude tax. So because you were watching this video and you already know that here there is no first payment, and we calculated it's actually $243. This is obviously not a deal. Like, it's whatever the corporate website gave. This is like even less than that. So if you saw this commercial, $245 per month, I got Civic LX, and you saw like, that's not a lot of money, I can afford it. You can already see they're like ripping you off by $2 per month. So that's not good. Okay, so then I want to click on new inventory, and what I'm looking for, I'm looking at the MSRP to understand if the estimation I got here for 20,800, if it's actually realistic to buy a car for this price. Okay, so Honda, obviously, specials, 233 cars on special. That's like half the cars are on some sort of a special. We'll do model, Honda Civic. So what's what we see here? We'll see finance, lease, question mark, and if you click here, somehow it leads you to finance, not lease, for 6%, 0.4 APR, which is crazy, but that doesn't really answer our question. Then we'll see this car, lease $253. The MSRP is $21,480, which is slightly higher than this. So again, that kind of shows you that's around the same price, that's the same deal. They're writing here extra savings on this vehicle, ask us for more details. Doesn't really seem like there is that much more of extra savings. This one costs a little bit more, the lease goes a little bit more. Okay, so the MSRP seems to be pretty close to this, but you can still see it's higher. Okay, so this is one of the dealerships, and this is kind of pretty straightforward. If you looked at the corporate website and then you went to this dealership, you know exactly what kind of a deal they're trying to give it to you, which is basically no deal. Then I'm gonna go to Honda, I think it's in Aurora, Illinois. So same area, I go to new vehicles, I go to lease specials, I have lease specials. And it's kind of shocking because I see a Civic Coupe EX, which should cost more than regular Civic, and you see the MSRP is $24,555, and the price is $241 per month. So based on looking at the corporate website, looking at the other website, the other dealership, you kind of see like, wow, like that must be a really great deal. Except when you click on the disclaimer, it doesn't really tell you anything. It doesn't tell you if it requires any down payment. And I find it pretty much impossible that the advertised price would be so much lower. And if you go to Honda Civic LX sedan, which is what we're comparing, 36 months, the same MSRP that I just put here, 21,605, and we go here, it's $219, which is way lower per month. And I wish if I clicked here, it would tell me if it's 0% down payment or not. And the offer ends at end of August. So I'm pretty sure that if I email them, they will tell me there is a down payment here. I clicked here on the coupe just to see if I'll get more information. They don't actually have any of them, so I'm not really sure what's the first car being advertised. But when I click on inventory here, they actually have two Honda Civics, all the same price. So, you know, if you're curious and you think maybe this dealer somehow can make the better deal, way better deal than another dealer, you can email them and see the details of that lease. So that's kind of a preliminary research. The next thing I want to do is I want to pre-calculate my payment, because before I email the dealer, I want to know exactly what I'm emailing them, what price I'm including. So all of those prices, this whole listing, it doesn't really give me the manufacturer, it doesn't give me a residual value, which is I need to put in this lease hacker calculator. So the way you do it is usually by doing the research, and the great way to do it is Edmunds Forums. And the way you do it is you type Edmunds, you type the car you want, which is Honda Civic, and then you type residual value, because that's how the posts are named and that's what it finds. So I did this search right away. The number one result is that thread that I need. It goes from 2015. So obviously I'll click on the last item here, scroll down, because I wanna see August deals, and a lot of people are asking about like Civic Sport, Civic EX. I already like read it, and usually there's the same sort of response, that manufacturer is like 00085. And then the residual does change, and it seems to be that hatchback or some models have like a $500 incentive, which we know there's a $250 like no payment. So $500 is better, and perhaps this is something that somebody else was advertising on their dealer website. But I usually like to go to the last one, and if you can't find the type that you're looking for, you can post yourself. And here's like a Civic sedan, like a Lex. So I have this manufacturer, I have the residual value, and I have the incentive. So this will allow me to go to the MSRP. I'll copy my price from here. So we know incentive is $500, and this is a fairly inexpensive car in a way that the manufacturers don't really have that much of margins on it, so the room for negotiation is pretty low. So the worst case scenario, we're just getting this $500, and I'm assuming this is like reduced from the top of the price, from the selling price. If you don't know what I'm talking about, why it matters, please watch the first video. So we're doing 36 months, we're doing 12,000 miles, and the residual was 61%, which is really good. And then the manufacturer, I'm just gonna copy and paste it. So it's 2.04% APR, which is very low. We're gonna roll everything into all of the fees, which you will have to pay, and then tax will put on the lease. So what do we get here? When you roll into the fees, when you roll those into, the payment is already not like $250, because you have to pay them. So it's $301, $328 per month with tax, and that's a total lease cost. So here's the score. So this is pretty high, and what we can do here is we'll take our calculator, we'll take 328, and then we'll divide it by MSRP of the car. We'll do the percent, and it's 1.5%. So when we did just those calculations here without the tax, was a little bit of a lower MSRP. It was way closer to 1%. The reality is like 1.51. So now when you look at all of this and you want to get closer to 1%, this is when perhaps you can knock off a few things here. Perhaps you can tell them not to pay the dealer fee, or maybe you can negotiate the residual, but probably not. This is the first car. We looked at it, and you can see it's pretty far off of 1%. And as I said, this is actually one of the best cars to lease because the residual value is 61. The APR is fairly low, but you're already far off that 1%, and you're far off of the deals that they advertised. And what you got to remember is also you never go for those advertised deals because anybody can get them. Like if you come into the dealership and say, I want this deal, they'll like score because this deal was designed to make money off you. Your job is to make sure that you pay the least amount of money and they perhaps don't make as much money off you. And then I wanted to give you another interesting example with the Civic hatchback because I was reading through those forums. So the hatchback has a lower residual value. It's 56%, same manufacturer. So the price is $331. But what they do is sometimes they play around with the residual value and the manufacturer. So if I scroll a little bit higher up, I'll see that there is a same car, different deal. The residual value is 64%, but then the manufacturer is way higher too. So out of curiosity, I plugged it in the calculator. So if I plug it in the manufacturer, the APR goes to 5.16%, which is obviously high. That payment jumped to 378, but of course I gotta adjust the residual. That works in my favor. Boom. The same exactly payment as in another deal where the manufacturer was lower, but then the residual value was lower as well. So that gives you an experience of when you're getting the deal from the dealership, how they can mix and match the numbers depending on what you like to bring you to almost exact same monthly payment. So when you're looking at the deal, make sure you look at all of the levers. Let's move to the second example, and you might say, Roman, you promised us to show like a good deal, and it didn't seem like the Honda Civic is a great deal with that 1.5%, but now I want to show you a really bad deal to put in perspective how good the Honda Civic is for the car lease. So I'm in Chevrolet USA. And again, we go to shopping tools. There'll be offers, there'll be estimate payments usually. So we can look at the offers, and I know what car I'm looking for because I did my research in terms of really bad deal. So Sonic, you might think like, why do you want to lease it? It's a nice little car. Perhaps you want to do zooms throughout the city. And right away, when I see the car, I see it's $329 per month for qualified leases for 39 months. And it's $159 due at signing after all offers. That doesn't seem like a great deal. And I don't even know how much this car costs, but I'm assuming it doesn't cost more than Honda Civic. And just by looking at it, you can see the sedan costs $17,595. All right, let's go with hatchback. Even this is lower than Honda Civic, and even before you jumped into analyzing the offer and everything, that's just insane. It's almost the same price as Honda Civic, and what they're advertising here is $329 per month. That's without taxes, all of that stuff that we rolled into Honda. Remember, Honda was advertising $250 a month for 36 months. Okay, so let's go to shopping tools and we'll do estimate payments. Well, this Sonic actually looks good. Nice rims, looks sporty, looks like you can haul. We'll do hatchback, 5-door to keep the MSRP close to the Civic LX. Down payments, no, we're not doing down payment. We'll do 0. So it jumps to $356 a month, but the Honda, we were leasing it for 3 years and we had 12,000 kilometers. So it goes to $396 per month. That's without tax, but that's enough for us to calculate just to see. And that's the MSRP, 396 divided by the MSRP. And we get 1.95%. That's before tax, so his tax will be 2%. So that's example of a really bad deal that makes no sense because you have MSRP that's lower than Civic. Even if you really love Chevrolet, the reason you're paying so much for this lease is because the residual value has got to be so low that they have to put it in. And you might ask me why I'm not showing you Edmunds, like the research on that. It's because the car is so like nobody leases it. There's actually no forums that will tell you the residual value. But this is an example of a car of a similar value. One is a relatively good lease and one is relatively really bad, or perhaps the worst. For our final example, I want to move out of the class to the luxury vehicle, completely out of that price of 21,000, just to show you that the same principles apply in the luxury vehicles, and you can use that 1% rule to really benchmark the deal and see where you're getting. And because the luxury cars, the variability in price depending on the packages varies so much, it is even more important to pay attention to details to see where you're getting. So let's look at BMW, and again I start with the corporate websites to see if there are any like corporate deals that apply to everybody. So I'll do see current offers. I'll click search, and then we'll go to 7 Series. And you can see that 7 Series kind of, when you stick with the same engine, is pretty similar, except like this one is slower. So then the next thing I want to do is I want to look at the important info, because that will give me what is going on with the deal. And it's kind of jumping around here, sort of organized. Okay, so it's $970 a month. So lease, that's including 1,000 loyalty conquest certificate. So I'm not sure if it's loyalty to BMW owners, or it's if you're a Mercedes owner, they'll give you a conquest certificate. Sounds like they give $1,000 to everybody. So first month's payment, that's fine. The down payment, $5,100, as you know, no go, would have to put it here. No security deposit, that's good. Acquisition fee, we have to pay that. So this is not like realistic, but let me just see the details here. And it is way more important again to look here at the details, because based on the different packages, the luxury cars vary in price so much that variability, you can buy a few Honda Civics in there. And usually luxury cars have those packages that are once on the lot. So let's look at this. We have monthly lease payment, 36 months. The MSRP of 89,145. So that's what I was looking for. I'll do the BMW 7 Series. I'm just gonna put here MSRP, and I should spread it out. Do the actual MSRP, and this one will be deal MSRP. And what I want to do is later I want to compare. I don't know why my Google Docs keeps changing to pounds, even though I live in Canada. I switch it every time. Anyways, what I want to do is to see if I can actually buy 7 Series for this price. Okay, so what else do we have here? So this is the deal, that $979 a month. This is what we're getting. There's loyalty certificate, suggested dealer contribution. So we're hoping the dealer will pay that. We're not really sure. And that's when they say actual MSRP may vary, dealer contribution may vary. And here they'll charge you 0.3, so 30 cents if you go over the miles. There is a disposition fee at the end of the lease. Okay. And there is like buyout value too, so you could actually based on that buyout value, you can calculate what's the residual value. Okay, so I guess was accepted 1,000. There's not really much to look here at in terms of the offers. So next thing I want to do is I want to look at I just want to look at the Auto Trader and see, you know, how much they sell for. I'm just gonna go to Auto Trader. I'm not gonna go through dealer by dealer because you got pretty much the gist of it, of how you gotta evaluate it. I'll go by new, sort by lowest price. So I can see that the lowest price is $92,494.95, which is already $3,000 higher than that lease estimated payment was. So we're not gonna get that advertised price, which we don't really want anyways. But as I mentioned, it's pretty unrealistic to get a bare bones luxury car. You might luck out, but this is when it's important to look at it. And also, if you look at all of the vehicles, and again the spread between them, this one is 92,000, and if I keep scrolling down, even with the same engine, 740i, or here 740i, this one is like $12,000 more. So for $12,000 you can buy a used FRS or BRZ. So that's pretty major, and that's why it's important with the luxury cars, again, to look at exactly what the deal is for. So I got the MSRP. I can check out the dealer to see if there's any deals, but right now I'm just gonna do Edmunds BMW 7 Series residual value. I'm gonna go to the last one. Ooh, M760, we don't need that. Here we go, 2020 74 X Drive. It's actually very close to the zip code. So I'm gonna go to Lease Hacker again. And no lease incentives. So not even that $1,000 incentive. We'll do BMW, and the nice thing about this calculator in US, if you do a BMW, it will populate the proper fees. We'll just click off zero drive off right away. I'll take the sticker price that is there right now. Worst case scenario, no discounts. We want 36 months, we want 12,000. And then, so the residual value is 54%. And if you paid attention, this is way lower than the Honda Civic because BMW 7 Series depreciates more. APR is a bit higher too. So we're not doing anything here. We're rolling everything in. And we get here the calculations, and you can see it's not actually that bad. The Honda was like 6.4 years, here is 5.6 years, and again, if we go to our calculator, we'll take the monthly price divided by the MSRP, and we'll get 1.65%. So that's again an example of how you can quickly find now all of the information you need for the deal, and see that if you compare it to Honda Civic, which is a completely incomparable car, but when you use that 1% rule, you can compare it and kind of bring all of those deals to this common denominator. And while I'm here, it was just it was a very good example of showing you how to look for an actual deal. So once you do this research, so you know here you want to negotiate this, perhaps you want to negotiate the APR. I don't know if you can negotiate residual value, whatever you can to bring this number closer to 1%. Obviously, this is not a great deal at all. This is like way above the 1% price. But when I click here on used, and remember the cheapest car was 92,000 something, 92,500. When I click on used, and I kind of still kept the same low miles, you'll see that there are two cars, and especially this one caught my attention. This is below 4,000 miles. It has cold weather package, ambient air package. Don't know what ambient air package is, but you definitely need a cold weather package in Chicago. Trust me on that. But you look at the price, it's $79,000. So it's more than $12,000 cheaper for almost the same car. And this is where you gotta look at it and say, like, can you guys list this car as a demo car? Because then you go here, and even if you like don't negotiate, you put like 79,977, and boom, like you like reduce your payment to way higher. So if we do the payment to 1128 divide by 92495, which is a new car, obviously not the same, but you get to 1.2%, which is way closer if they lease you this car. Sometimes they can't. You can also evaluate, perhaps I want to buy this car because it lost so much in value, and pretty much this is a brand new car with all of the warranty. Most likely this was a loaner or a demo. That's why they're selling it for such a low price. So that was a good example, just to show you guys while we're here how to look for the deals. So I know it was a long video with kind of detailed examples, but I find that if you've never done this before, it is important to go step by step and not using any terms to actually show you how to pick those numbers and how to calculate. So I thank you if you watched it that far down the road. Those are the examples. Okay, so now I'm gonna do like sort of like an appendix to this video where I'm gonna take 3 cars of the same class and quickly compare them to see which one is the best value, which one is not. And this video is for somebody who is not familiar with shopping for cars, how those like trim level works. So if you're a professional on that, feel free to put that like button, subscribe if you're new, and don't watch that appendix part. But if you need this, it's here for you.